Okay, today we are playing a game on Ilios. We are playing Roadhog the entire way through, except for like 30 seconds at the start of the game, and this was a competitive game, but it took place doing placement, so SR, you know, everywhere. Current team composition is Winston, D.Va, Tracer, Genji, Zenyatta, and Lucio. Holy shit, it's like looking at a relic of the past. It's the vintage dive comp. It feels like it's been 1,000 years since I last saw the dive comp. This is the dive comp. It's sad, though, because it doesn't have a Mercy on it, basically. I would trade either of the supports. I would be willing to trade both of them for a Mercy, in fact, but, alas, we do not have a Mercy, and that's very sad. So, let's just start the game. So, because we have a dive comp, we are playing Winston right now. Don't worry, we die, we change. Because, we decide Winston might not be the best against their team comp, basically. So, there's a Winston in there. We're not great at fighting Winston, and he also fucked off, so we don't have to really worry about it so more. And we come back around here to start trying to tase their backline. We don't quite kill the Zenyatta. We could have probably killed him, like... We seem to give up on it as soon as we have to reload. I think we could have probably stuck it out a little bit longer to finish off the Zenyatta, because he was very low by that point, and the only person around to help him was Soldier. And here, they have a Reaper, which is very scary for us as Winston, of course, and we don't really do that much during this fight. We die very shortly. Soon from now, we will be departing from this realm. And we're trying to tase these people, but there's a Reaper here, it doesn't go super well. We decide that we're going to change to Roadhog, who is better versus that team comp. Zarya would also be worth considering because we have a D.Va, and Zarya does make Reaper and Winston quite sad, just because she has the ability to save people from death, and pretty easy to gain charge off of their team. So, they also don't have a Mercy, which is fantastic news, frankly. So, now we've hooked this man, but no, Hook 2.0 saves his life. It's okay, it'll be back up before too long, and we can try again. And basically now, our plan, it's very unfortunate to lose tempo on this map, because it can be hard to push in. Basically, we're hoping to pick someone off real good. Our Zenyatta is either felt really pressured or is trying to have us go in with Transcendence, and all that actually happens is we don't go in super well, and then Soldier goes, oh, he's using Transcendence, and I haven't even used Tac Visor yet, so then he just waits for it to be over and uses Tac Visor, and then everyone's really sad about that one. So, their Winston right now is making life rather difficult for our team, largely because he... Well, actually, the Genji has changed to Reaper, so it's not as bad as it was, but he did counter, like, our entire team, except for us, basically. So, we do still want to focus the Winston, because Roadhog, well, Reaper as well. Roadhog's really good at killing Winston, and we don't want him to kill our Zenyatta, seeing as that would make it rather difficult for us to get much done. So, we've called out that we've heard Reaper teleporting. We're trying to get this Winston. We don't get the Winston, and then we decide to jump down in this pit, which I do not support at all, because we can't get out of this pit. We have not got any kind of tempo advantage in this fight, and we're below half HP, and Take a Breather was down, so I do not support jumping in the pit at all. We also just generally don't do a very good job of fighting the Winston. Because the idea with fighting Winston as Roadhog is basically that you're looking to get, like, a good left click or right click into him, hook him, and then shoot him again, and then he's basically dead. And hopefully your team's there to help finish him off, but if not, you can probably finish him off as well as Roadhog. That's not what happens, and oh god, Reaper's doing that, and it doesn't go super well this round, as might be apparent. Orisa might also not be bad against that team because they have some long-range people as well, and Orisa is not terrible against Reaper because you can dance through the barrier, and Fortify makes it surprisingly hard to kill Orisa. Plus, Reaper's going to be right on top of you, so Orisa can sort of just chew through him, because it's really easy to headshot someone when they're really close to you. And then we could try and build a bunker around Zenyatta and fire at their Zenyatta and their soldier, which we would win the fight because we have an Orisa shield and they wouldn't have it. So Orisa would also be okay versus that comp. Also, Orisa is really good against D.Va. D.Va can kill Orisa, but all things being equal, the Orisa probably kills the D.Va, or at least takes her mech away. Roadhog is also still fine, but Zarya or Orisa would also be reasonable decisions. Also, Orisa's really good on this map in particular, because you can try and dunk people into the pit. So, we basically, as Roadhog versus this team, what we're really looking to do is we're looking to get easy kills on people, obviously, like this one, which is just easy money. But we're really trying to focus the Winston and the Reaper, because we counter Winston, so obviously we want to try and kill him as much as possible. But, Reaper also counters us, and Roadhog can kill a Reaper, provided we're paying attention. So those are the two we're really, like, trying to kill in this game if at all possible. You just generally, Winston's not allowed to do that. It didn't go super well for him. And I mean, it probably seems like, well, yeah, obviously we want to try and focus the person we counter, but you'd be surprised how many people pick Reaper and Roadhog and then completely ignore the Winston, even though they should be, like, really focusing on the Winston. It's like when there's a Genji or a Widowmaker on the enemy team and your Winston just doesn't really seem to care about them, just kinda ignores them and goes about his business. It's like, well, you know, if you're gonna go with the counter pick, you should really kill the people that you counter, honestly. So we have not seen very many of the enemy team in a while at this point. They're all sort of getting killed off-screen, and we haven't had to worry about too much, which is perfectly fine by my standards, honestly. The less I have to interact with the enemy team, the better, frankly. So we've been quite low HP for a while, but we've also been not really threatened, so there's not that much point to take a breather, and we might as well just let one of the other healers build their ult off of us, because, I mean, nothing's been really happening. It's not like we can't just take a breather if a fight starts. Just trying to outright hook a Winston as soon as he comes into sight is a little bit optimistic, because the Winston is probably going to use his bubble as soon as he sees you, expecting the hook to come out. So, unless you think his bubble is down, I would be wary of going for that kind of hook on a Winston, just because he's probably going to use his bubble. So we push this dude off. He actually dies, but then, so, he's used Primal Rage, so we want to make sure he goes off. But as soon as we see that skull appear on the screen, we should immediately look up and start trying to kill that Pharah. Because she's not very far above us and we're using Whole Hog. She doesn't get moved while she's using Barrage, so we'd kill her super fast if we just looked up at her really quickly and maybe we don't die. Or, worst case, we probably trade with her, if nothing else. We seem to, like, he's used Primal Rage, so we really want to make sure he goes over the edge, because he can hop back up, but as soon as he dies, we gotta try and switch over to the Pharah to try and kill her before she kills us. Because Whole Hog, provided the Pharah is reasonably close, is gonna kill that Pharah real fucking good. Here comes the Boostio, and Boostio's down. So they have to just kind of run in to try and touch the point, because they're about to lose the round. And things are not really going very well for them right now. We missed the hook right there, which is obviously sad. Try not to miss the hook. Because there is a Pharah, we have to be wary of that happening, because she is going to try and concussive blast us off the edge. But we're still really winning this fight, so it's not going to be an issue. Oh, very Zenyatta, very scary. Zenyatta doesn't know how close he came to dying right there. It takes a while, but we've won. We didn't really have to do anything this round. Like, outside of the initial fight, we never really saw anyone for the rest of the round, honestly. And now they're just rushing in to try and touch it. We win as soon as we get here. The main thing in this game is, like, mostly mechanical stuff. Like, we've missed a lot of hooks that we probably shouldn't have missed, but 46% accuracy is still, like, decent. I think 60% is probably, like, the amount you should aim for, as being like, yeah, that's pretty good. With, like, accuracy is something people vary on. If you're playing, like, a hit scan hero, as far as I'm concerned, 50% accuracy is pretty good for someone like McCree. Soldier's probably going to be a little bit lower on average, unless they have a barrier, because he has an automatic weapon, so you naturally expect the accuracy to be a bit lower. The hook is pretty fucking fat and easy to hit, so I'd say like 60% is the pretty good amount, and then anything above that is like excellent. There are varying opinions on this. Some people would say 40% is fine. Some people would say 60% is fine, and anything below it is terrible. Like, you know, there are varying opinions. So, when there's a Winston, there's really not very much to be afraid of, and I'll just, like, press my face right into this Winston. And this is... I play a lot of Reaper, I really like playing Reaper, and what I learned playing Reaper is, if you got a shotgun, if you just press your entire body into them, you are gonna kill them really fast, and because you have a shotgun, it's not very hard to hit them, because when you're point blank, like, this Winston, like, their team in general is not gonna kill a Roadhog super fast, because it's just not feasible for them. Like, they would need a Reaper, another Roadhog, something like that, to actually kill us quickly. Whereas they have, as far as we know right now, a Soldier and a Pharah. So, I would just press right into this dude and try and kill him. Like, we're, like, really hesitant about it. Like, Winston's not scary to a Roadhog. And we got Take a Breather. Like, you can get away with a lot of ballsy shit as Roadhog, provided you have Take a Breather. I would just press right into the dude, like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. Roadhog is one of those heroes that you want to be pretty decisive when you're playing. Unfortunately, here we hook the dude when we've got no ammo in the gun. Gotta count your shots when you're playing Roadhog, because otherwise you hook someone and you're really upset that you hooked them and didn't have any ammo to actually kill them with. So, they have a Reaper, so we want to focus that dude now, because otherwise he's gonna kill us, and we don't want that to happen. And we also still want to focus Winston because we can't counter him. But the Reaper is probably also a Smurf, looking at his border, because whenever I see somebody who has no stars at all, I just tend to assume they are probably a Smurf, because they often are these days. It's pretty rare they're actually a new player. But Roadhog is one of those heroes that you have to be pretty decisive when you're playing him. Not like... Reaper is the same way, but there's less... Reaper has no option to poke, so you have to be even more decisive with Reaper. Roadhog you can play a little bit more tentatively, but the Roadhogs that always, like, control the flow of a game and, like, dictate its pace are the ones that are really decisive and just, like, run up there and fuck people up. And then they run away, taking a breather, because who knew 50% damage reduction and the 300% heal is... Or 300% heal, fucking hell. 300 HP heal is a fucking lot of mitigation, actually. Especially if you're being healed by somebody else, so... You can get away with a lot of shit as Roadhog. You have to be kinda decisive, especially after they nerfed him, so that he does less damage overall, requires even more, like, decisive play. Like, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna try and, like, fuck them up. And he's, like... He feels a lot more fluid now that Take a Breather, you can move during it, which I'm still really upset it's called Take a Breather, now that you can move during it. I really think it should be called One for the Road, because it's obvious. Someone else said something really good, but I can't remember it offhand at this point, but, like, One for the Road just seems like such easy money. But, what would I know? I've never made a billion-dollar game before, so... So we try to hook the Winston, but then it turns out Reaper's actually there. But fortunately, we just kind of walk away. It's not a big concern. A Reaper can't even really kill Roadhog through Take a Breather. Like, he has to actually run the Roadhog down, so... Take a Breather is a really strong ability. So now we're going to go in and use Whole Hog, or as I like to call it, the Rudy Tooty Whiz Bang Shooting, because Whole Hog is so lame. It doesn't end up going super well. We do have a Mercy now, which is fantastic news. It's a shame it has happened when we're already at 60%. So it was like a fine time to use Whole Hog, but their team is kind of hard to actually kill, especially seeing as we weren't in a position to actually, like, pin someone in a corner and fuck them, or push them off an edge. It's just like Whole Hog isn't a very fantastic ultimate, so it was a fair enough time to use it, it's just, it's not the greatest ever. So far as killed herself, right before the final fight, because we're at 90% right now, and, you know, that's really sad, and as you can probably tell, we don't win this final fight very well. All of the rounds are really easy in one direction or another, aren't they? Like, we haven't really had very many fights, actually, have we? When you think about it, like, we've had, 2 fights over this entire game, and now we're rushing in to touch it in overtime. So we end up using Whole Hog, take a breather, right as Zenyatta uses Transcendence, which is obviously really sad. And, they have a lot of ultimates because they haven't had to use their ultimates, and this is the thing with going in with Transcendence, is Reaper thinks to himself, he's using Transcendence and I haven't used, Death Blossom yet. Now I'm gonna use Death Blossom and kill half their team because Transcendence is down. And that's why going in with Transcendence is, quite bad. It's, very much a reactionary ultimate. People try to use it as if it's Sound Barrier, and it's just really bad. It's not Sound Barrier. Sound Barrier is the ultimate you use to go in. Transcendence is the ultimate you use to null out other people's ultimates. This is why I think, Moira is really good also. Coalescence can be used either way. You can use it reactively to, like, null out an enemy team's Graviton, or, something like that. Or you can use it to go in, because it does big damage and big healing, you know? So, she's a little bit more flexible. Her ultimate's a little bit more flexible than Zenyatta's, but it's also not as consistent. Like, you might use Coalescence and just die, in which Transcendence would not have happened. But, people try to go in with Transcendence. Really bad. Don't try to go in with Transcendence, because then they'll just use their ultimates after you've gone in with Transcendence. So, the biggest thing in this game is just, like, mechanical stuff. We miss a lot of hooks that we shouldn't miss. We miss a lot of shots that we shouldn't miss. I think in general, we play too, pensively and, too timidly. Like, I would prefer to see slightly more decisive play. Cause, we feel a little lost and, aimless during the game overall. It doesn't seem like we know what we should be trying to do, really, and we're just kind of doing whatever. And in general, just kind of playing a little timidly. And we were on the back foot for a lot of the game, which is going to kind of lead to that a little bit, but playing Roadhog's a big guy. You gotta get out there and try to, like, push people around. The only reason that, Roadhog works at all is because he has this, like, massive presence in the game, right? Like, if we want to talk about heroes that have, like, the largest singular presence in a game, Roadhog is definitely up there. Because he has the ability to just kill people. And he himself is difficult to kill because of Take a Breather. And his ultimate is just like, I've decided I don't want to take part in this fight anymore, so I'm just gonna call the entire thing off, basically. So when you're playing Roadhog, you need to think to yourself, I'm a big guy, I gotta get out there, I gotta push people around, I've gotta make my presence be felt, because that's what Roadhog is about. He only really works because he is very threatening, and as soon as you see a Roadhog, you're scared of him because he might hook you, and that's really fucking scary. Which is also why if you see him miss the hook, you're like, oh, he's much less scary now, because that's on cooldown. But if you just see a Roadhog, you're scared of him, and he's annoying to kill. So you gotta be like, big presence, go out there, push him around, make space, fight people. And then if I decide I don't want to be in the fight anymore, I can just walk away, huffing on my paint, and they can shoot me in the ass. It's okay. I've got fucking fantastic ass. Just bullets bounce right off them. Or you can be like, no, I've decided I just don't want to fight anymore. Or you're trying to fight. I don't want to fight. Just fuck off, actually. Roadhog's quite versatile in this way. That he's aggressive, but he also he's very aggressive, obviously, but then he has these defensive components. Like, his ultimate is very defensive. It's very hard to use in an aggressive fashion. And Take a Breather is probably the best defensive ability in the entire game, because, like, you're just not, unless you can stun the Roadhog out of it, or, make him purple as Anna, like, you aren't killing him. Like, he is gonna survive for a while after doing that. So yeah. Mostly mechanical stuff, though, really. Though, we don't do a good job of projecting our presence, but that also ties into mechanical stuff as well, because if you do go around missing hooks, then people are going to be less scared of you as well. So, anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. I'm happy to answer. God, excuse me, Jesus. And I hope you found the video helpful.